Hey guys, Kristen with Expert Credit Sweeps here again. So we are now talking about the repeat offense tactic. So I know a lot of you are dealing with your disputes coming back as frivolous, and there's a couple different ways to deal with it. So now if you are using factual based disputes, your dispute should not come back as frivolous, but of course they do. And they do because the bureaus and the creditors are not freaking doing their job. And there's a way to actually prove this and to get your negative items deleted. So repeat offense tactic. Okay, so this is yet another follow-up tactic for credit bureaus and creditors that is designed to catch and document violations of the FCRA. And if you want to know what violations of FCRA and FDCPA are, I do have the mini-series. You can go back and look at my playlist. So, okay, so this tactic is based on FCRA 623, which states that repeat disputes can be flagged as frivolous via the creditor if the person, meaning the creditor, has already performed the person's duty. So this assumes that they've already done a reasonable investigation, that they've already done their job. So in other words, the only way repeat disputes can be applied as frivolous is if they actually fulfilled their duty the first time, okay? So we're looking at FCRA 623, that's right here. That's the first highlighted section, and then the actual yellow highlight is what we're looking at right now. Okay, so the repeat offense tactic is based on the following 3 points. And you can look at my notes over here on the right where it says, you know, we all know that there's never an investigation, and your disputes can be flagged as frivolous for many reasons, including templates, me and my templates, templates, and disputing the same reason, or that your dispute letter was too much like the last one. Okay, so the 3 points. Your disputes you sent to the bureaus were indeed factual, okay? Over on the right, factual means that this is based off the information reporting on your credit report that directly shows it's inaccurate, incomplete, or unverifiable information. And it also means that you may be actually having some documentation to go with it to prove. So I know a lot of you don't have documentation, and you know, if you're a business, you probably don't have documentation from your clients. So factual based disputes, where I'm looking at the information directly from the credit report that you are using in your disputes, okay? So an example would be that the high balance across all 3 bureaus is not consistent, and then you put the amounts, right, directly from the credit report. So that would be TransUnion reports as 500, Experian reports 0, Equifax reports 1,500. Obviously, those are 3 different numbers. It's inaccurate, and it needs to be removed. Documentation could possibly be the page from the credit report, but sending it sometimes is just a waste of freaking paper. And you know, if you're obviously sending your ID, SSN, and proof of address, then now you have to pay more for postage because, you know, it's a heavier letter. So I don't know if sending it sometimes is even worth it, or, you know, sometimes it actually does something. I mean, that's completely up to you if you want to do that, but documentation sometimes helps and sometimes doesn't, okay? So the second one would be, since the disputes are factual, then the item should not be verified, right? So if we're showing them that there's 3 different numbers, then how could it possibly come back as verified when there's 3 different numbers? That means that someone somewhere, or everyone there, is not doing their job. So if the item comes back as verified, like I just said, then someone somewhere didn't do their job. So those are the 3 points to it, okay? So when a factual dispute for which you have good documentation, we've already talked about documentation, now the consumer is in the right, comes back as verified, then the creditor did not do their job the first time the disputes were sent. So if an identical follow-up dispute is sent, then the dispute cannot legally be deemed as frivolous, since the creditor and bureau and or whatever didn't actually fulfill their duties the first time, okay? So in this case, you don't have to send a different letter with different dispute reasons, because the first time they did not do their duties, okay? So in this case, you would send a 3rd letter outlining their failure to abide by the FCRA and demand deletion, okay? So this can also be used as ammo with things like the CFPB, the BBB, so on and so forth. So the steps for this tactic then would go something like this. So, and over on the right, you see this assumes that there's documentation, and I've mentioned that most of the time documentation isn't even bothered with. One does not need to send or submit documentation for the dispute to be factual. So send the initial dispute to the bureaus. When the first dispute comes back wrongfully as verified, send a second follow-up dispute with the same basic info, documentation, etc. If, this is number 3, when the second dispute is flagged as frivolous, send a third letter to the creditor or bureau complaining of violations and demand deletions. Now, I don't agree with this sample letter here, but the point behind it is what's important. Okay, so we're not going to read this entire thing because obviously we're just looking at the point. So even though it's supplied documentation that proved this account is fraudulent, you failed to recognize that and supposedly verified the account. Okay, the next one, to add insult to injury, when I sent a follow-up letter for the same item, you deemed it to be frivolous because it was too much like my previous letter. However, according to the FCRA, you can only flag a dispute as frivolous if you have sufficiently completed your duties under the law for the first dispute, which in this case you have not. You are therefore in violation of the FCRA on a second count for flagging my dispute as frivolous when it was not, in fact, frivolous, and when you had no reasonable cause to believe that the dispute was, in fact, frivolous. Okay, so, and I'm sure you know what I'm going to say right now, that all of this crap doesn't need to go into your dispute letter. We're only looking at the reason behind this, okay? So if you were to put this into a dispute letter, what you would really be condensing this into is sending you can send the original dispute letter with your next letter that says, you know, included in this dispute, or included with this dispute letter is my original dispute, which proves that you know, this account is, the balance is wrong, or, you know, it's whatever your original dispute was, and that you didn't do your duties under the FCRA. You can simply put that and then put the account that you're disputing and your same reason as before. And, you know, you either need to remove this or I'm going to go to the CFPB. So the whole point behind this is that you want to take something like this and condense it down into a simple reason, because all of that is just too much. So you're in violation, account needs to be removed. This was never legally verified, and I'm proving to you that this is in fact inaccurate, incomplete, or unverifiable. And it needs to be removed. So that is the entire point behind that. This is the repeat offense tactic, and I use it all the time, actually. In my previous video, whichever I actually upload first, we went over the update audit tactic, and if you want to check that one out, I will also put the link to that one down in the description. But this one is the repeat offense tactic, and if you, sorry, that is my laundry. If you are looking for the best ways to remove inaccurate, incomplete, or unverifiable information, if you have a business, if you want to create a business doing this and you want to help other people, then I have my soft launch for the official course coming out at the end of October. So if you want to get on this soft launch, then you are going to save $100 over the official launch, which is going to occur at the end of the year. And in return, all you're going to do is tell me what needs to be added, changed, removed, any bugs, anything like that. So I'm really excited about that. I've been doing a lot of recording, and so far it's over 15 hours of videos that are separate from the videos that you guys watch. So I'm really, 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 really excited about that. I'll put a link down in the description, and a link also to the video that introduces it. So I will see you guys later. If you have questions about this, just put it down in the comments and I will see what I can do to help you. Now, if you're looking for a professional to take over your file, you want nothing to do with any of this stuff, and it's just too freaking much for you, then you can also schedule a free consultation with me and I will see if I can assist you. So that is it for today. Possibly, I don't know. I may be sending out another video. Anywho, this is it from Expert Credit Sweeps. I will see you guys later. Bye.